Good morning, participants. We are now on the day 3 of our training session in Module 2. As a requirement on your brainstorming activity, you are told to bring data or data set coming from your respective division or schools. So in that sense, you need to consolidate your respective data into a one table. So I guess you are more familiar with Excel file. Just start a blank worksheet and then you can rename the sheet tab into a raw data. So from your raw data, you're going to copy and consolidate all the records, and also do not forget to include the table headings, which is represents the field within your record. Like here we have employee number, employee name, employee gender, department, and so on. So my sample data set might be different from what you have. But then that was agreed by the group. So yun na po yung gagamitin natin. Okay. Ano pa po yung dapat nating malaman? Dapat we need to construct at least 5 questions because we're going to make a descriptive statistical analysis out of the given data set. So magko-construct po kayo ng tanong, halimbawa po, dito po sa atin dalang data set, I want to find out or we want to find out how many employees under permanent or permanent type of employee. How many of our employee is under the temporary employment type? And how many of our employees are in contractual or by contract? So that is a first question that you're going to answer with the help of data analytics and the data visuals. I guess yung core question po, depende lang po na manggagaling doon sa inyo. So, gaguide po tayo ng ating mga facilitators in doing the activity, but they will hop from one breakout room to another. So, hindi po talaga magstay ng matagal sa inyo si ating PASI. So, once na bumalik na sa inyong room at may mga gusto kayong i-clarify or itanong doon sa ating facilitator, they're very happy to serve you po. Okay? So, this is now your raw data. I guess you know how to open your file. So, naka-table na po. Lagyan nyo ng header based from the field name. And then, that's it. Ngayon, pag nag-copy tayo, there are instances na yung kinopy natin ay may mga spacing, merong mga data na walang laman, yung mga field names, o meron tayong mga naka-insert na blank records. Meron din namang hindi na sa tamang formatting, no? Pinag-usapan natin during the plenary session. So we could apply proper case. We could apply removal of spaces. Kasi meron po yung effect sa data analysis. Halimbawa po, yung dinemonstrate natin during the plenary session, no? Nagpahanap ako ng duplicate. May dalawang tao magkapangalan, pero hindi siya na lumabas. What happened then? So, posible po kasi yung duplicate names na yon ay merong magkaiba ng spaces, no? Between names and last name. Kaya kahit magkapareho sila ng pangalan, the spacing will affect our analysis. Kaya po, meron tayong tinatawag na cleaning of data. So, ito pong nasa second worksheet natin. Galing po rin dito sa raw data natin na iniayos na po natin, na cleaning na po natin or nilinis na po. At the same time, I do some formatting to the table properties to make it more presentable. Makikita nyo rin po yung data filtering. Kasi common if you have multiple number of records, makakatulong po ito sa atin data filter. Halimbawa po, I'm looking for a certain name like Colleen. I can just uncheck, no? Pwede kong uncheck kung mga hindi ko kailangan, i-check ko lang ang kailangan for easy navigation. Ayan, kaya yan po yung gamit ng ating data filters. No? So automatic po yan kasama dito sa clean data natin. Okay, so ready na po tayo. So let me show you the idea on how we can convert this raw data table into a clean data. Pagawa po muna ako ng panibagong worksheet for us to do our activity. So I'm going to insert a blank worksheet. Okay. So raw data, move or copy. Then saan natin gustong ilagay, right up before sheet 5. So ayun na po, raw data 2. So kinapi ko na lang po instead of starting a new one, I just make a duplicate copy of raw data. Okay, so ito na po yung raw data natin. By the way, yung step po, nandito nilagay din natin at meron din naman yan from the worksheet, no? Doon sa mga exercises na templates po natin, nakaspecify po doon yung gagawin ninyo. Okay. So on your worksheet, you have here your data. Naglagay rin po tayo dito, mag-alat din po tayo dito ng mga extra columns, no? Para gagamitin natin for doing the data cleaning. Okay, so the first function that I'm going to try is I'm going to use the trim function. The trim function, based from my demonstration on the plenary session, the trim function will actually eliminate the spaces before, at the middle, and after a certain text or content within your data. Halimbawa po ito, si Billy Philgate. So medyo ginanahan yung encoder, no? Malaki yung space between name and surname. So instead of deleting this, we just use the trim function to do the proper formatting ng spaces, no? So from top to bottom ng ating column. Okay? By the way, you can use this shortcut key. You don't want to use your mouse. For more faster way of selecting your data, you can use Control Shift plus arrow down. Control Shift plus arrow down will select the entire content within your column. This is an option if you want to make it more easier and more faster. So, okay, apply na po natin. So, I have here trim. And I will specify the range of cell that I'm going to use. Control Shift plus arrow down. So this is the idea, no? So one of the record like Bill Philgate ay umayos na po dun sa ating trimming. Okay, we will do it, no, para applicable na po sa lahat. What happened here is from the range of row, kumuha lang siya ng particular name na inayos niya. So you're going to ask, sir, applicable po ba yan sa lahat? Yes, that is our objective. So you can type equal sign since this is a function. on a blank cell, equal sign, then you have there trim and the parenthesis, and you just click the first name on your table. Just click that first name on your table. What you can see is it will register the cell address. In that case, this is cell B3. Okay? Since you want the trim function to be applied to the entire name within your table, you can actually make use of the autofill features of Microsoft Excel, meaning the same function will be applied from top to bottom of your list, no? So you don't need to do it one by one. Okay? So just point your mouse on the handle, on the fill handle, and drag it downward. So that is up to the last record within your table. Okay? So that's it. So the names now are already formatted. The spaces were already removed. So since we already have the proper formatting, all we have to do now is to change the old entry into this new one. Okay? So papalitan na po natin yung erroneous, no? Yung mga raw data na nakita natin, nalinis na po natin yung mga names. So this is what we refer to as cleaning of data. So again, all you have to do is to make use of copy, right? No? You can select and copy. And then go to the specific column that is your name. Then right click, then use space spatial, and then value. Okay, so there you have it. You already replaced the old record with the new one. No? Clean using the trim function. All right. So next, we will apply other cleaning, no, using trim function by looking at your table. So kung meron pa po nakita ninyo na nangangailangan ng ganong function, you will examine your table and do the same thing. So magkakaiba lang po yun dun sa content, no? Pero it will remove extra spacing. Okay. Just remove the results since we already pasted this, no, to the proper column. Will be no longer need this one. So you're going to erase or delete or clear. Then we will proceed to the next function. Okay. So looking at the next column, we have here the gender field. As we all know, the gender field was represented by male and female. But if we're going to scroll down on the content, there is a possibility that you can examine the possibility of having some text entry that does not conform to the proper case sensitivity. In this sense, kaya nga sabi natin, merong naka-proper case, merong mga naka-upper case, no? Merong mga naka-lower case. Probably the encoder, no, made some mistakes, no? As they encode, nakalimutan nila, naka caps lock pala yung kanilang keyboard. So this is one of the possible errors that we can fix using the cleaning of data. So for this, I'll be using the function proper. This function proper was also demonstrated during our plenary session. So what is the proper function? What is the use of that proper function? The proper function would allow you to change the formatting in terms of capitalization of words, or text within your data. So for example, sa mga name, ano po ba yung kailangan naka-proper cap? So yung laging first letter. So halimbawa, Emilio, then Aguinaldo. Yung letter A should be in proper case. So in this sense, the proper case is for male is capital M and the rest are small letters. The proper case for female is capital F and the rest are small letters. So since there are some entries that does not conform that case, we can use the function proper. So again, I will type my formula, my function equal sign proper, then parenthesis. Then I will also select the particular cell on the first entry that I want to change the capitalization or the proper casing of the text. No, so in that case, that is the first entry. There you have it, and then like what we have did before, you can just drag so that we can again apply the autofill feature of Microsoft Excel. Okay, you need to determine up to the last record. No, that is why the table should be visible while doing the data cleaning. Okay, in that case, as you observe, yung mga naka-capital at naka-small cases, no? Kung meron man makita si computer or sa Excel, so babaguhin niya po yan. Gagawin niya lahat in its proper case. Okay? Since we all already done with converting the proper cases of the gender record, so you can also select this is the result, right? Then go to copy so that we could change the value, no? So paste and then paste spatial. Then value. Okay? So there you have it. We already done with the name field and the gender field. Again, you need to inspect what are the other columns that requires my formatting or trimming. So try to figure out by looking at your worksheet entry. What else? So for example, on the date format, so let us try to change the formatting of the date format so that we can make it standard. So as you observe on this entry, there are some entries that is actually different, no, in terms of formatting of date with one another. So if you want to make the standard entry in terms of date, you can highlight all this content, no, from top to bottom using your mouse or using Control Shift arrow down. Then you can click and then format cell, number, and then select the date and time function. Okay, and then you will specify the particular format that you want for that particular date entry. Okay, in that case, no, you actually change the proper formatting, no, standard formatting of date entry. Okay, what else? So there are instances wherein, as you observe, since we made the copy and paste procedure or in consolidating your data, there are cases that the encoder or the secretary or the clerk, no, provided some blank records in your data. So that it will also affect the result of the analysis. Again, we can apply the removing of blank records within your table. Okay? So this is also part of data cleaning. Okay. So, nilid ko na lang manually mga row natin, no? Para yung mga blank rows na yon, blank record ay mawala. Okay, last po ay itry natin yung auto-fit. Yung auto-fit features will automatically resize your column, no? Automatically to the largest content, no? Based sa pinakamaraming laman na cell. So, yung auto-fit niya po yung actual size. So, to auto-fit, all you have to do is to click on the column header using your mouse in between one column to another. Just double click. There you have it. Your column will adjust to the size, no? The size based from the largest text. So this is the easiest way. Instead of resizing your column, you can do this auto fit. Okay. So after that, you can delete unnecessary entries on your table to finalize our cleaning of data. And then select the entire content of your table and press Control plus T. Control plus T will convert the selected rows and columns into table with table filters. Okay, there you have it. When you format your cells into table using Control plus T, you have the customized table formatting, but still you also have there the filter button if you want to navigate for a certain records within your data or data set. So suppose you're only after for a single record like Billy, you can directly use filter by name and then okay. So commonly we want to navigate no at a certain criterion within our field. So if you convert the data into table, so the filter button will automatically appear. By the way, that filter button is a non-printable character. Meaning, if you're going to subject this table into printer, hindi na po kasama yung mga arrow na yan. Okay? Yan po ay ginagamit lang natin for navigation. Okay. So this is now the clean data based from what we have from your raw data. So you can now rename your tab as clean data number 2. Okay, so have your raw data, and then you have here your clean data. So you are now ready for data analytics. So yung next tab that you're going to create is the data analytics tab. The data analytics tab will contain a descriptive statistical analysis out of your clean data. So see to it that our numerical value is still visible, our table is still visible on your data analytics. What you're going to do again is to provide a copy of your table for the data analytics tab. So yan po. So nandyan po yung table na cleanin natin kanina. Pansinin natin, wala na tayong mga spaces, no? Naka-auto fit na siya. No? Mga formatting updates are all changed, no? Including the filter. So meron na po tayong filter buttons for navigation. And then the descriptive statistical analysis box that you're going to write is based from your question. For example, out of this data, I want to learn how many of my employee are in permanent status. So the analysis will do it for us to show some numerical data. Like how many are temporary employee, how many are contractual, how many number of employment is there on our company. So automatically, you have a quick facts or descriptive analysis of your table. Okay? So how to get the total number of employee? I use the count if function with the criteria. So equal sign, count if. So hindi mo po yan na manually na bibilangin. Yan nga po, gagamit tayo ng mga specific Excel function to guide us or to help us in doing our descriptive statistical analysis. So count if you're pertaining to permanent, temporary, so that is employee type column. So you need to specify the range from first employee up to the last employee. You can use control shift arrow down. Okay. Followed by the criteria. So here is our formula from the formula bar. Count if table, comma, then our criteria is the word permanent. So case sensitive po ito. So dapat po based on your table entry, dapat po tama yung inyong ilalagay. So permanent. Close quotation and then close parenthesis. For that, all you have to do is to enter. So there you have it. You can find that there are, or the Excel locate that there are 20 employee out of the permanent status. You can count it one by one if you want to check, not to verify whether that is correct or not. Same thing with the number of temporary employee. All you have to do is apply count it. So if you don't want to rewrite your formula or retype your formula, you can actually drag. Obviously, if you drag this, it will have the same result. Okay? Since you're dealing with different type of employee, you can now change the criteria to from permanent to temporary. So let us try temporary employee, correct. So click the old formula. All you have to do is to replace the criteria. Temporary. And then press the enter key. There you have it. There are three record match on the temporary status, employment status. How about the contractual employee? So we will have to, again, since we copy the formula, We'll change this to contractual. Okay? So there you have it. You already created a quick report about the question regarding the number of employee per employment status. You can answer how many employees who are permanent, how many employees who are temporary, and how many are contractual employees. Okay? So create a table, no? I format your table to make it more readable and more appealing to your to the upper management. Of course, they are up and looking at that, no? So tayo na lang po yung maging creative. We will apply our creativity para po yun ay mapansin, no? Or madaling makita ng ating mga managers. Okay? So sa baba, I just apply AutoSum. From the AutoSum function to total, no, the number of results, no, based from the employment status. The total should match on your given table from the clean data. Okay, so next is another question. How many employees are male and how many are female? So since it is part of our question, so again, we will provide an evidence-based, no, answer based from data. So again, we have the category, gender, and male. So I guess you already know, or you already have the idea on what particular function also I'm going to use. So I'm going to use, again, the COUNTIF function with different criteria. In this case, I will use COUNTIF, how many males. So my criteria is male, and then I will be using the gender field. Okay, equal sign COUNTIF. Again, we'll specify the range. We are up there on the gender side or gender column. So highlight again from first to the last record. You can use Control Shift arrow down. So that is the range, and then your criteria is, again, we are looking for male employee. So male. So the criteria should be in its proper case sensitivity, no? Para mag-match siya dun sa ating data entries. Okay, based from this, there are 13 male male, then this one is the male employee. All right, so we are also equal, no? So from 13 to 13 in terms of number of male. So you can copy your formula downward, drag it downward, and then change the criterion from male to female. Again, you need to look at your table for the proper case and spelling of your entry, of your criteria. So that's it. So there are 13 male and 11 female on this sense. So this is your female, and this is your male. Okay, so next we want to find out how many employees is working on a certain office branch. In this particular table, we assume that there are different offices, no, located in different branches. So, paano natin kukunin yon doon sa address, no? But then, on our raw data, you can find here that The address is actually a combination of particular barangay and particular city. So let us say we want to get or we want to determine how many numbers of employee are working on a particular barangay. No? So on my raw data, these are the different barangays represented in Amalabon. No? So on that case, we need to segregate, to separate the barangay data from that of the city data. So since this was already encoded on your table, so this is part of the data cleaning procedure. So although we are in analytics, since we required to have a report for specific barangay, we'll apply this technique. Okay, so we will have this blank column for me to have the answer. So we will use the data tab, and then text to column. So let us say from your original table, so ipakita natin kung paano natin siya kinuha from the original table. So I will now have the table for city, I mean the field name for city, and then this one will be for barangay. So we'll separate the entries into two, one by barangay and the other one by city. Okay. So just click the entries binary session, go to text to column, select the limited. So the limited will give us the option to choose the character, which will be our separator, no? So say magka-separate para magkaroon ng dalawa. In this case, dalawa, no? Dalawang column with different entry. One is for barangay, and then the other one is for Malabon, yung city. So next, then ano yung separator natin na pwedeng gamitin natin based from our row table? So merong separator na comma between barangay and the city. So I could choose comma here. You can see on the preview, the single column will be separated into two, one for barangay and one for the city. So next, then what type of data? That is if the plain text, and then finish. There you have it. The entry for barangay is now separated for the city entry. Again, so on our clean data, so naka-separate na po yata. Hindi pa pala natin sa-separate, no? Yan, dito sa ating data analytics, so I apply separation since I need, no, the information for the barangay. I want to count or to determine, no, in which barangay, how many employees are there per barangay, you know. Okay? So this is the distribution. For Tagatog, you have 3 employees who are working there. For Katmon, 5, and so on. So the management could determine, no, which particular office needs reinforcement or additional manpower. So you can look at this table directly. Okay? So once you already, since we already separated the entries into two, so you can now make use of the barangay entry. Again, using count if, you can specify the entries from a particular barangay, count if, then select the range of data. or what particular barangay. Then you have their comma, your criteria. No? So your criteria, again, this is case sensitive. For example, I want to determine from Barangay Katmon how many employees are there. Just type Katmon. See to it that the barangay is existing on your records. So okay, so there are five uh, employee who are working in Barangay Katmon. Okay, so, since already have here my table, you ask me how can you arrive with that? You can apply the same formula, no, using if function, and then select the tab for the barangay. Count if, table barangay, then comma, the criteria is Katman. And here we can just say count if, table barangay, column barangay, and then criteria is Sugatog, Tinejeros, and so on. Just replace the criterion, and then Excel will give you the counting, no, the summary of the total numbers. I mean, Excel will do the counting and it will display the total number of matching record match. I mean, okay. So there are also instances that the management will try to ask, no, would like to ask you how much is the amount that we are giving, the amount of salary that we are giving to our employee. How much is the highest salary, and how much is the lowest salary, and then what is our average salary rate that we're giving to our employees. In this case, we can use the function max, mean, median, and then average. So to call a function, all you have to do is write equal sign, then your function max, parentheses, then we are after on the salary column. Again, it is important to select all the entries. Okay, there you have it. The highest salary is 118,967. So let us look at your table. Is that correct? Yes. So that is a male employee with the position or working in the engineering department. He is receiving an amount of 118,976. Probably this is a monthly salary. Okay? Same thing with the lowest salary, you can use the function mean. So equal sign, mean for minimum. Then again, use the same range, increase on the salary, select downward, and then we can close the parentheses and then enter. So the lowest salary is 37,902. So you can verify, no? So you can choose go to or find and replace. So 37,902, this one is also a male employee who is under the Human Resource Department. Okay? So that is a quick report. If your boss or your superior want to ask you how much average salary are we giving to our employee, which one receives the highest and the lowest salary, and then the last one, suppose you combine the criterion. I want to determine the male employee together with the criterion of their status, no, employment status. So I want to verify how many permanent employee are male. So looking back at our first result, there are 20 permanent employees, but we cannot determine and on that 20 on that figure how many are male employee. So again, we have set two criteria: permanent we're asking for permanent, and then we're asking also for male employee. So, dalawa po yung tinatanong natin, no? Permanent and then male. Okay? So, is this possible to set multiple criterion? Yes, it is possible. We will be using for multiple criteria, you will be using count pa rin, count, but this time you have the word ifs. Meaning marami, no? Count ifs. So count ifs, you have there the set of range and criteria. So parang ganun din kanina, kinumbine lang natin, no? So count if, one is, I'll be looking at the criteria of employee type, permanent. This is my first criterion. And then we have a comma. So our criteria is we are looking at permanent employee. Okay, so permanent. And then you have the comma. Here you have the second criteria and the second range. So what is the next criteria? We will be looking at permanent and male employee. So our second criteria is out of the gender column. So I will go to gender column, highlight, or select, and then another comma, then the criteria here is male. So again, the summary will be based from your questions, no? So you will derive questions out of your collected data, and then you present us through data analytics and data visuals. So if you're going to enter, okay, so table permanent gender male, tip G3 to G27. Okay. Right, let us again try this one. To count if how many permanent is in terms of employment type. Count if, okay, let me try to change this one. Count if, so I am looking at the range. Okay, and enter. So there you have it. So there are 10 male employee who are under the category of permanent. So there are 10 permanent male employee. So this is actually a multiple criterion. Okay? So since you have there 5 questions on for your table, so you're going to describe additional insights or information that you can find by using your question. You need to prove your answer using the statistical data. So once you are done that, the next tab that you're going to create is the data visuals. So for example, I have here the status of my employee so that I could directly communicate, no, with our managers or superintendent I could rather present them the numerical value, the summary of statistical value, and the visuals through different graphs. So those five answers or results of our analysis should be presented in graphical format in a dashboard that can be used to present for your managers or to our supervisors or superintendent, I mean. So under technical assistant 4, you need to create a table of interpretation. So you will also perform this activity, but then dahil po nasa mataas na po tayo, nagdagdag po si Sir doon ng mga relevant to your role. You will have a summary of findings and recommendations based from the result of our sample data analytics. So, yun po yung gagawin, yun po yung idadagdag. I mean for career level 4. So, yun po yung ating idadagdag. So, you will be based your findings and recommendations from the given table. So, doon po yung basis natin, no? I mean, from the result of data analytics. So, this ends our group activity. I hope you find it useful, although we will not learn the entirety of data analytics in just one day or 1 week session. I hope you can find idea on how we apply data analysis based from your existing school data set that will improve no our school managers decision making and policy making also. With that, I'm now ending my presentation. I hope this sample presentation, I mean, will help you a lot in doing your capstone project. Good luck, ma'am and sir. Mabuhay po tayo.